Hello, Vessel listeners. My name is Ethan Roggow. I have a very special guest today, Jason Ferris, the drummer for Bread of Stone, as well as many other things, here to discuss how the COVID-19 outbreak has affected him.
Hey Ethan, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thanks for being on. So here's the first
Absolutely.
question. When did you first hear about COVID-19 and what was your initial reaction?
Oh man, I think it was just earlier this month in March was when I really started hearing talk about it. At first, for me, it really didn't affect my life, so it was just business
Mm-hmm.
as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Um, didn't think much of it. Was kind of personally, I'm not a total conspiracy theorist, but I kind of branched towards that. Didn't really think much of it. There wasn't at the time the media wasn't exploding with it. We knew ports going on in China and things, so I wasn't personally very concerned about it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then over the past couple weeks, you really heard more about it, and you know, um, government taking action and this whole quarantine, process being started. So yeah, my initial thoughts, I really didn't think much of it. Just kept on trucking, and doing
Yeah,
what's placed in front of me to do.
I can definitely relate to that. I feel like um, it not only was just not reported on as much, I feel like no one really knew what was going on. And so
Hmm.
my first reaction was really relatable to that. The second question here is, has this viral outbreak affected your places of work? I know you work for BNY Pro, a production company in Sioux City. You're a drummer for a band called Bread of Stone. And additionally, you're a live performance producer for touring artists. Can you just walk us through how you've adapted your business uh, to these trying times?
Yeah, well, for Bread of Stone, we had several events canceled now. So just in March, going into April already, even have canceled. So any long um, runs, hopping on the bus and going out west and stuff is all done for the time being. Um, Production, as far as with BNY, kind of the same thing. We are in a time very heavily with it being a presidential election year. Production work for campaigns, different things like that, has kept us really busy. That went away as of a couple of weeks ago, but now it's actually been coming back
Okay.
in a different way. So instead of going on a campaign, doing live shows, we're setting up home studios for different ones to live stream in their homes. So that's what I've been doing all week, hanging out here in Pennsylvania. I personally haven't been doing it. I've been getting some other work done, which has been nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm just out here help drive the bus for a few of the guys that are cleared to go into these homes and do this. So we've done it for one successful person already. So now different campaign managers and different ones are wanting it to be added in their homes. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. So we're starting to pick up in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it really hasn't affected much. It's easy to look at the negative aspects of it when things like this happens, but I've just kind of, it's been a good season because we've been so slammed with the band and production ever since last November, and it was going to be an ongoing thing until after the election in November. Whether it's the band playing shows, um, running production for campaigns, do festivals, concert tours, you name it. We were just going nonstop, and now this has kind of given us a good breather. Be able to spend time
Mm-hmm.
at home, spend time with
Yeah.
our families, get other projects done that we haven't been able to do. So it's been kind of able to see even the good, in all this. And I know there's a lot of businesses that, production companies that might not make it through after this. There's a lot of artists that maybe won't be able to do it any longer.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's several even big businesses that are really struggling right now. But when you're faithful with the little things you have and you put yourself in a good position, um, it's been life as usual for us. We're
Mm-hmm.
actually been able to get ahead of the curve, and that's one thing we talked about as a team. It's like, okay, let's take this time, let's stay healthy, let's be smart ahead in our work, get ahead in our learning. So when things pop back up, we are not only ready, but we are way ahead of what than we were.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great. Just keeping a positive attitude, that kind of thing. Going along with that, what have you done to manage stress while in quarantine during this outbreak?
Stress. I haven't had much stress.
Okay.
I haven't had much stress for several years. My wife may say differently at times.
Yeah.
Honestly, like whether people believe in God or a higher power, whatever walk they may be in life, I believe ultimately in God, in Him being sovereign and in full control. And, I think this is a good time, kind of like when tragedy is struck, whether in natural disasters or in even attacks on our own soil here in the U.S. Everybody comes together. I know this is the opposite. Nobody can come together for less right now.
Yeah.
But this is the one thing that really unites people because it's all about survival and, looking out for the common good with your neighbors and family and friends. So for this, I think it's, especially when it all clears, and Lord willing, it'll happen soon. When we get through this, it's kind of like a good reset. Like the things that we were so worried about and put such an emphasis on isn't really that important when you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember to use as an example, so with their production company, the band, that family who started the band, the production company, they also own a trucking company. And, electronic logs, when they came out, was so important. They were so on top of the drivers. Now they're like, and mandating your hours and really all these regulations. Trucking has boomed because of providing supplies for, all the different grocery stores, different things like that. So they're like, you know what? Cut that. Forget having to. Yes, you log, but like you're not regulated anymore right now.
Yeah.
Get through this. So it's just like something that we put and you see that throughout everything we do, whether it's law or just whatever we emphasize on and we think is important. But really, at the end, when the going gets tough, it's really not. When we're so quick to just, I don't need that anymore. So I think it's a good reset for everyone, even just personally, to reconnect with family, to rekindle relationships, to work on themselves, get healthy, whatever that may be, and it's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great. Well, thank you, Jason, for being on here. We love having your insight. Just to close out the interview, I have one last question. What are some tips you have for anyone out there who's dealing with a lot of fear and anxiety during these trying times? I know you're a faith believer. What are some tips for those faith people that are just facing a lot of emotions right now and want to get over that?
I mean, it's cliche, but honestly, anyone, especially who's a faith believer, is truly give it to the Lord. Like, if we believe that, and we say it all the time, His ways are not our ways, His thoughts are not our thoughts, like, His plans are so much greater for us than what we could ever realize. So if we truly believe that, like, God's in control, it's like, hey, there are no bad days then anymore. Because we're like, God's in control. This was meant to happen. He knows. I don't know what the purpose is. We might not see it right now. We might not see it right away when it's over. But, if we look at like, okay, well, this is obviously His plan for my life today. So today I'm going to be the best me I can be. I'm going to do whatever I feel like I'm supposed to get done that day. And that's what we can do, is take one step at a time. And living in fear isn't healthy. Having it is really crippling, and that can make you sick. As is, like literally, because I've been there. When you're afraid or fear of losing something, like I remember one time I ended up coming down with pneumonia because I was so worried about something that had come up in music career, and I was like so concerned about it, and I ended up getting sick, coming down with pneumonia, like just this thing that happened, and I'm like, never again. Like, why? When it physically is affecting you, you gotta let go of that. So yeah, just let go and give it to God.
All right, I think that's great. Well, Jason, thank you for being on here and giving some insight. My name is Ethan Roggow, signing off for The Vessel.